Hello my dears, welcome to Jessica's Intuition. Welcome to the next weekly reading. Before we start here, I definitely need to mention a few things briefly. For those who are not interested, you are welcome to fast forward. We are looking at the week of the 24th March until the 30th of March. March is coming to an end, and the week after that we are already in April. Before we start, I noticed in the last weekly reading it definitely resonated better with you that I did all 12 zodiac signs as a general message. That was clear to me. So it has always been like that in the past. In my first year I did it that way. Then at some point I generally stopped it, then I tried it again. So in 2021, 2022, and then finally in 2023, I didn't do it anymore. And last year, 2024, not at all. I would like to try that. So I definitely want to keep doing it for all 12 zodiac signs. I actually try to film it on Friday or Saturday evening, depending on when I have time, so that you all receive it on Sunday. I can't always promise that it will be ready by 8 o'clock on Sunday, maybe a little later. In any case, I've decided to publish them all on Sunday and not before. I've also been considering whether to publish them earlier once they're finished. But I think I'll release them all at the same time on Sunday, unless I change my mind during the week. No idea, I'll think it over carefully. As I said, I don't know if everything will work out by 8 o'clock in the morning this time. It's almost Saturday night now. Yeah, I'll just have to see. Then I definitely wanted to mention here that a few comments last week didn't sit well with me. First of all, this is my channel. If I want to include an introduction here, then I will. That's the first thing. I don't know how long it will be. I say that in advance. You are not forced to listen to it. You can also feel free to fast forward. As I said, if you're only interested in the card reading, you can actually leave my channel. I'm very straightforward about this because I want to have a community here that stands behind me and appreciates what I say. And it's not just all about the card reading. I've said it before, I'm not a card reading machine. That it's solely about the card reading here. This is also about astrology, and I actually mention in every weekly reading what we can expect astrologically in the week. I am genuinely happy, I must honestly say, when people reach out and leave a comment. That's how you can find the fly in the ointment and simply fish it out. So, I have deleted a few comments and actually blocked a few users. As I said, if something doesn't suit me, then I simply do it. And I just wanted to mention that I find it very disrespectful to even bring it up. And as I said, I don't want to give it a platform here, nor do I want to bother with it anymore. I just wanted to mention it here once. Anyone who stands out to me will be blocked immediately. Alright, that's just a preliminary note. The 72-hour outlook was also very well received by you. It will be available again on Thursday for all 12 zodiac signs. What I noticed there were the timestamps. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I won't be adding timestamps, that I won't write down when each sign comes up. If any of you would like to do that, you are welcome to, and I would be very grateful. I also take note of such things, and maybe I'll pick you out sometime, and you'll receive a little goodie from me. Always remember, it's a give and take. I lay out the cards for you here. I don't have time for everything, and unfortunately, I don't have time to do that for all 4 channels as well. That's why I didn't do it. And as I said, you are welcome to write in the comments when your reading begins. I'm not upset about that. I'm very grateful for it. There's good karma for you. And as I said, you simply stand out to me because of that. Comments like the timestamps are missing or whatever stand out negatively. I just wanted to mention that so you're informed. I see everything. I also see things that are not visible. So in that sense, I see everything. Yes, that's just a preliminary note. I hope I haven't forgotten anything now. Exactly. I had told you that I have a course over the weekend, which actually runs from 9 to 6, from Friday to Sunday. Sunday. These readings will be released on Sunday. At some point, during the day, the remaining spring readings will be released. Also on all channels. And I will actually also try to publish the weekly reading on all channels from now on. So that's actually my project that I want to start right now. As mentioned, the remaining spring readings will come out sometime on Sunday during the day. And then starting Monday, the April readings will follow. First the monthly reading, then the me and my counterpart reading. I know I still have a few love readings open about what's coming up in love for you. I think I will also do those this week. But I also have a few appointments this week. I'm not sure how I will manage all of it. Then we also have the new moon this week, for which an oracle will be released. Then we have Neptune, which is growing in the sign, and I actually would like to make a video about that as well. That's why I just have to see. Maybe I'll do it like this. I'll first do the April readings because they are a priority. Then I'll do the remaining love readings. I think there are still 7 left of the what's coming up in love for you readings, the timeless ones, and after that I'll do the me and my counterpart reading. They will probably already come into April, but everything is also partly timeless. A reading comes out every month for this series, so if it goes a few days into April, I think it's not that bad. So I think I'm done with the complaining. Yes, as I said, for me, something like that is not acceptable at all. I wanted to mention it once, and with that, the matter is settled for me because I don't celebrate or like such things at all. Well, as I said, we're looking at the week of the 24th until the 30th of March, and the weekly readings won't be too long. Of course, the intro I speak will be included in every zodiac sign. That always takes longer than the actual reading. As I said, it's all a message, and it's all important for the next week, not just the card reading. And ultimately, they are weekly readings. Almost every day a video is released on my channel, yeah? So I can't make all videos 30 minutes long. That just doesn't work. As I said, if someone doesn't like it, they are welcome to take the door and just leave. So what's coming up this week? We have right on Monday the 30th, the 24th. In March we have the Sun conjunct Mercury. Mercury is currently at 4 degrees Aries. It's retrograde, which means it's going back into Pisces. I had told you about it. It was at 9 degrees Aries, it's now at 4 degrees Aries. And indeed on Monday we might feel major turning points, or a major turning point might occur. It could also be that something from the past comes up again, something that we want to bring forward. Especially since Mercury represents our mind, also communication. The Sun always illuminates this. They are practically right next to each other. So they are directly, let's say, in the radix, they are right next to each other, the conjunction. And this can actually also mean, yes, where should it go for you now? In which direction should it go now? In general, what, how, what, where. So it can actually mean where to with you. Where to with you. How should it move forward now? This is actually the case. Oh, with Mercury conjunction, so Sun conjunction Mercury. This can actually be directly on Monday that you feel it, right? The energies, or rather, yes, the energies, they know no time. They are there, they are already there now. One person feels it earlier, another feels it later. Then, on the 27th of March, we have Venus in retrograde conjunction Neptune. So I would actually take this week, yes, time for oneself. So I would take time so that you take time for yourself, that you also withdraw, that you think a lot this week about how things can generally continue for you, because we also have the new moon. I believe it will be a very, very spiritual week as well. The week will not be easy. I'm telling you now. Yes, as I said, on the 27th, March, we have Venus retrograde, conjunction Neptune. Neptune is currently at 29 degrees Pisces. As I said, it is also changing its sign. It can actually be that we are more emotional, that we are more sensitive, more compassionate. It can also be that we want to heal or want to heal ourselves, that things simply come up, that we are allowed to process, that we might have pushed aside, right? Forgiveness issues, also something like that. That one forgives oneself. This is definitely a time for spirituality, to go within, to be with oneself, to, as I said, also take time for oneself. As I have already said, it can also mean that major cleansing processes, as mentioned, the theme of healing, the theme of, yes, cleansing as well. I am definitely with the star energy there. I just have to say, on the 27th of March, we also have Lilith changing her sign. She changes it every 9 years. It also moves into Scorpio. I'm also very curious about how this energy will affect us. However, it goes until the 20th of December into Scorpio. After that, it becomes retrograde and comes back again. That's just a preliminary note. And then we actually have on the 29th of March, which is Saturday the 29th of March, we have a solar eclipse, which means the solar eclipse at 8, or rather 9 degrees. Aries. Yes, the new moon in Aries is approaching. Restart. Exactly. Restart. Energy is a fire energy. This is a very, very active energy. Strong willpower. A new chapter may open. We already had the new astrological year begin on Thursday. That was also... I have to be honest, I actually started something new on that day. So at the moment, everything is going very well for me. I can't say it any other way. So the year is really off to a good start for me. I hope it's the same for you, that you are making good progress in your endeavors as well. As I said, there was also a topic for me that I had been putting off for a long time. I've been putting it off since last year. And I realized that I have to tackle it at some point this year. I kept postponing it. And now with the eclipse season, by the way, the last eclipse is at the beginning of the year, the 2nd of 4. And with that, the eclipse season is also over for now. It will only return at the end of the year in September or October. And it is indeed the case during the eclipse season or the retrogrades, as I mentioned in the astrological forecast. In March, things will resurface that we have postponed, simply things we haven't addressed. And that has indeed happened to me. And I can't tell you otherwise. Address the things you are putting off. One day you will be confronted with them again, sooner or later. And for me, a few things were indeed already too late. I know, but I knew that myself. But my hands were simply tied. I didn't have a solution for it. And I knew the solution would come eventually when the time is right. I was then also forced to do something else first, instead of what I actually wanted. And ultimately, it resolved itself on Thursday, or rather, finally on Friday for me. I am very thankful and very happy that I no longer have a problem in that regard. Yes, I tend, as I said, some might want to reflect back on last year, September or October, when the eclipse season was also happening, to see what was pending then, whether you've completed it or not. As mentioned, we have the new moon in Aries, which is a very, very strong energy. It's also an energy for the next 6 months, where I would say look at what you intended back then, whether it has now been fulfilled or realized, what still needs to be looked at, what still needs to be tackled, what can finally be completed, what can be started anew, opening a new chapter. This is indeed under the motto, I would say. As mentioned, there will be another video about this probably on Thursday. I will manage to film the video, or rather, maybe already on Wednesday, and then it will be published for you on Thursday. That's how I feel about it, yes, for the new moon in Aries. I'm very curious about that. Yes, that's it for now. And then, my dear ones, what can I say? On March 30th, we have Neptune in Aries, I believe this week. Mercury will also go back over Aries, won't it? I have a feeling. Doesn't it go back over Aries again this week? Wait a moment, I need to quickly check my astrology tool. So I think it goes again on the 29th. Or, I believe on the 29th. Mercury goes back into Pisces again. But I'm not 100% sure right now. It's currently on Monday it's at 4 degrees. I think it will again. I think it was on the 29th. On the 29th, Mercury goes back into Pisces again. Yes, the 29th. That was it. I didn't write it down. Thought I'd remember it. Well, let's finally get to the last part. The 30th. Yes, the 30th of March. Neptune in the sign of Aries. That actually only happens every 164 years. 164 years ago, none of us were around. So we don't know how it will be. And especially the constellation that is present now, it wasn't there before. And Neptune in Aries actually stays until the 22nd. 2025 in Aries. Then it becomes retrograde again and goes back into Pisces. And then in January, I believe it was the 25th or the 26th, Neptune goes back into the sign of Aries. So this Aries 0 point is very, very important. I watched a video by Silke Schaefer 2 days ago or so. So when she published it, my last video. Super, man, informative. There were just such awesome messages in it. I can only recommend it to you. Watch the video. She is a professional astrologer, and yes, she mentioned and talked about some things that are just wow, what awaits us. A new cycle is opening. As I said, we haven't seen or experienced this transit in our lifetimes. It can actually mean that we are heading into major new beginnings. In general, new energy, new world. Everything will be a bit different. Everything will change, also on a global scale. We feel, I think, the urge, especially with Aries and Neptune, the urge to start anew, to begin again. Perhaps also to realize our dreams. Big new dreams, a bigger or newer life. And I also like to say lately, hold on to your vision. And most of you here have probably noticed that something has also come true for me in the last few weeks, for which I am very grateful that it happened the way it did. Ultimately, also with my other channels. That was a very, very, very deep-seated wish of mine to eventually start the English one. And now I am also available in Spanish or Turkish. And yes, I am curious to see what else will come. So, at the moment, I am really very, very happy. Of course, there are a few things that still need to be addressed, which one likes to look at. I just took the deck of cards, and there was the Ace of Cups under the deck, which also tells me that there are very, very big new beginnings this week. Very important new beginnings as well. I also believe that for many, a new beginning is coming this week. Okay, my dears, I'll leave it here with this intro for now. A good 18 minutes have passed. As I said, I'm not rushing myself anymore. I'm also taking the time to tell you about it. A little reminder. I've decided that you can get the 2026 annual reading with a 25% early bird discount. I'm extending it for another week. For those who still want to participate, let's say until the 31st of March, because March 30th will go until the 31st of March. In 2025, you can purchase the 2026 annual reading with the early bird discount for 25% less. Book the 2025 annual reading anyway. I will remove it sometime next month or the month after, and then I will already put in 2027. But for now, it will remain available. And yes, this reading will be released on Sunday. Anyone who still wants the spring reading at a discount can do so until Sunday, the 23rd. March. Save 20% on the spring reading without any additional code. When you add it to the cart, it will be automatically deducted. Exactly. That's just for you, my dear ones. I would say let's start with the zodiac signs and see you soon in the videos. Hello, dear Cancer. Welcome to your weekly reading. Before we start, I forgot to mention in the intro that on Monday and Tuesday, the 24th and 25th of March, we have 2 consecutive portrait portal days. Unfortunately, I also forgot to mention this for the other zodiac signs, the first 6. Well, for the second half, I haven't forgotten, so I'm mentioning it now. Okay, always remember that the roles in a reading can be reversed. Time is always relative, you see. And these are always collective readings, general readings. Of course, it may also be that not everything will align with you in this reading. Yes, and all important information, all important links, and also the cards I use can always be found below in the info box. And everything I currently offer can be found on my website. So, let's take a look. I've already sorted out the cards. We have the new moon, a new beginning is approaching. New moon in Aries, time to take action. And we have the solar eclipse, a massive change. Let's see what wants to come your way this week. How will your week as the hermit be? Retreat. Retreat. Introspection. Reflection here as well. That one withdraws. That one wants to become clear about their matters. I actually chose the cover image like that. I did it even before I did the reading. I hadn't engaged with it yet. Of course, I knew roughly what was coming up this week. But only it stands this week. Also stands. Yes, also like this. That one withdraws. That one takes time for oneself. Also this week, and I believe you will do that here as well. That one may become clear about many things, wants to think in peace. The Hermit is someone who withdraws, wants to think in peace, wants to reorganize, seeks answers that are actually within oneself. Actually, you know that. You just need to become aware of it again. And then the Chariot. That also tells me you will withdraw and then move forward with full force. Definitely full steam ahead. I have the feeling you will leave a situation behind. Let go of old baggage. Ace of Coins. Start anew. Focus. Time to act. Yes, that is the end. You will conclude something this week. And this is a complete conclusion, something that perhaps caused you grief and worries, something that gave you headaches. With the world, we always have the end. A chapter closes, a new one may open. I also believe that you are withdrawing here to become clear about it, because you want to look into a happier future. That is also the Four of Wands, which for me always represents this stable foundation. That perhaps one also wants to have a stable partnership. But it doesn't necessarily always have to be interpreted as love. I have always interpreted it very generally. Joy, having celebrations, so celebrating joy, enjoying life, having harmony. And ultimately, I have the feeling you will conclude something so that you can enjoy life again. There we have the Devil, but it didn't fall out. Five of Wands, I see disputes, arguments, confrontations, conflicts as well. Discussions. Yes, something is out of balance somewhere and someone was treated unfairly. Or you treated someone unfairly, that can also always be the case. With the Five of Swords, which even falls out now, Five of Swords, Five of Wands, which also tells me again, there's not much left to gain, get out of these things. It's just unnecessary stress. Yes, for me it's this unnecessary stuff, as I said, that you can save yourself. Five of Wands, you can save yourself from that. The Hanged Man and the Eight of Wands now as well. Oh, there's still a lot hidden behind that. They all come back in again. A situation where you might also be stuck, you will leave. You will move out quite quickly into motion. And you don't want that anymore. And that's what you're closing here. I can well imagine that what you're closing here might lead to more discussions, disputes. But this can be with one person, with your employer, in the family, wherever. And I have the feeling that you're leaving, getting out of there. We have the Six of Wands here. This is ongoing. Yes, you're now going your own way. You will walk out of here. Did the Five of Wands fall out? Yes, right? Yes, you don't want to be held back anymore. We got two cards again. You don't want to be held back anymore. I have this feeling. Page of Swords is ready to fight for his goals, ready to implement his ideas here. Also means stability for you. Just satisfaction that you are now taking good care of yourself. The King of Pentacles, yes, also has a lot of money and has the time, so that you are now paying more attention to your finances. I have this feeling here, you will definitely make one or two decisions this week. I'm telling you this right now, firstly. The first decision is definitely here, that you are closing a situation. We leave it. The other decision is that you are now focusing on your plans. What you are planning now, what you want to achieve. Yes, this can actually mean that you are freeing yourself from something here, whether it's a relationship, as I said, an old employment relationship, whatever it is, a structure. These are also simply your beliefs. The beliefs, well, that you are freeing yourself from them, that you are liberating yourself from them. Yes, the topic of renewal as well, and ultimately making a decision here. I don't want to say a new path, but that you are putting your ideas into action here. Perhaps you want to, or as I said, definitely reconsider your ideas. Think, because it could be that it pays off for you. So you will definitely make two or three decisions this week. You will definitely close a chapter here. We already had that with, I believe that was with Steinberg. It was about a chapter coming to an end. But I rather feel that you are closing the chapter here. At Steinberg, it was a bit of a different energy. But we already had that topic at Steinberg. Maybe you should take a look at the Steinberg reading. Luck is on your side. Yes, take a look. Luck is on your side. Okay, I'll leave it at that for now. I will now lay another row of cards for you in the continuation. Then we'll see what will come your way. I will draw a power animal for you. Which power animal will accompany you this week? Then I will draw a soul message and an angel message for you. This can be advice for you or an answer to your question. And finally, I will also draw a love message for you. You have the choice to watch the continuation between two different links. At least on the German channel. The first link is always the link that leads you to my website. There you can always watch the continuation individually. Very important, you will also always receive 2 emails. The first email is the confirmation email, where you also have your invoice. And then you receive a second email, where you have the button that directs you to the continuation. Also feel free to check the spam folder. It can indeed end up in the spam folder. Then you also have the option to watch the continuation through the channel membership on YouTube. That is the second link. It then leads you to the continuation of the channel membership. However, you can only watch the video if you are a channel member. There you will find a third link. That is the section for my channel membership. There you can sign up for a channel membership. From the second level here, starting with the Soul Community Bronze, you have full access to all continuations of the weekly readings. And you can always find these links at the bottom in the info box and also in the top comment. I look forward to welcoming you there soon. And to everyone else, I wish you a wonderful week. All the best and until the next reading. Bye-bye.